I, 27 male, am single and living in a large city. I've been single for a while, but recently started going out on dates again, mostly using apps. I have 4 really close friends that I've known for years. 2 of them are dating each other. We'll call them Ben and Zaria. Zaria, 26 female, has been my friend since college and she works as a nurse. She constantly asks about my dating life, as I'm currently the only single person in the group. So she said she wanted to set me up with her coworker, Lauren. She showed me pics. She seemed cute enough. Zaria did say Lauren had a kid, which normally would be a deal breaker. I don't date moms typically, but she was cute, so we started talking for a few weeks. We spoke for about 3 weeks until we decided to meet for dinner last Friday. We set plans to meet Friday at 8, on like Monday of that week. So Friday comes. The conversation flowed normally. We had very, very good texting conversations, deeper than getting to know you type of convos. When I arrived at the restaurant, she texted me that she was running late. She showed up 25 minutes late. I was waiting at the table and she apologized and sat down. We talked for a bit and everything felt awkward, like the conversation wasn't flowing as it had in the text. I try not to be judgmental, but she wasn't even dressed up. It looked like she had just left a gym class. We were at a nice brewery and she was wearing yoga pants and a tank top. I don't think she did her makeup or anything. The waiter comes by and I just ask for water. She orders 2 shots for us, then proceeds to order the most expensive cocktail on the menu. I was already feeling funny about the whole thing, but then we started talking about what we wanted to eat, and she said she wanted a steak. And then she ordered some charcuterie board that was like $30 for an appetizer. I'm not broke and don't mind splurging on dates, but I'd seen enough and excused myself for the bathroom. I then walked out to my car and left. I blocked her phone number. Well, my friend Zaria lost it on me this Sunday, saying she heard what happened, and it was rude and embarrassing. It was wrong to stick her friend with the bill for my things too. I said I only ordered 1 beer while there. I didn't order food before I left, but I'll gladly Venmo Lauren the $6 for the craft beer, but I'm not apologizing for leaving the date. I explained all of what happened, but Zaria being a girl didn't get it. My other friends think I was totally right to leave, but am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You make an excuse for why you have to leave instead of sneakily running away. You're a 27-year-old man who doesn't know how to communicate. You tell her you're not feeling the date, offer to pay for your part, and then leave. You don't run away because you can't handle confrontation. Jesus. So you spent 3 weeks conversing with this woman to walk out without a word and block her? Wow, that's cold. You have terrible communication skills that won't work in any relationship situation. Can't imagine why you're single. Oh gee, golly, did you wear makeup? I love how you just assumed that she wasn't planning to pay for herself and bounced, leaving her to pay for you. So what if it was just a $6 beer? It's incredibly rude. And complaining she didn't put on makeup? Yep, prime idiot dude. And single for a reason. A lot of reasons actually. My late husband, Adam, 36, passed away a month ago. I live in the house that he owned. I still need to do something concerning inheritance. Unfortunately, his brother lost his job and place and moved in with me a week ago. I have to admit I wasn't too pleased to have him move in with me, but I had no choice after I got talked into it by family, and since we had the chance to help each other grieve. Here's the situation. He started randomly walking into the bedroom and excusing it as needing to borrow something from Adam's closet. He wears his clothes and even started using his stuff, razor, laptop, etc. He also got his hands on his piano, which to me felt disrespectful because Adam wouldn't want it touched or moved. I tried to have conversations with him about what's allowed, what's not, but he'd throw the "would Adam want you to treat me like that?" line at me. It made me feel frustrated. I started contemplating telling him to leave. Now the current conflict. I finally opened Adam's closet and found a box full of wrapped gifts. I read the paper at the bottom, and he wrote that he had given me a gift for next year's occasions in advance, since he knew he wouldn't be around much longer. I was absolutely stunned. I looked at the gifts but didn't open them. There was a gift for my birthday, Valentine's, our wedding anniversary, Christmas, and so on. He said he wanted this gesture to also serve as a comforting method so I wouldn't feel so devastated, since we know that grief gets tense during these times. I couldn't believe it. He was always this thoughtful, but I never knew that his thoughtfulness could reach this level. I was out yesterday, and when I returned, I found that my nephew had opened all the gifts and ruined them. I was appalled, and my joy instantly faded. I had a huge argument with brother-in-law, but he said the kids were curious and that it was my fault for not concealing my stuff as I should. I told him he had 3 days to move out. He started ranting about how it was his brother's house and how I was ruining the family relationships over a few gifts. Mother-in-law got involved and took his side, saying he's grieving and this is his brother's house and that I'm acting unhinged. Am I the idiot? Am I being too emotional? I wanted to feel his presence this upcoming year, but it was ruined for me. Kick your brother-in-law out. Take off work, change the locks, pack all of their stuff and put it on the porch, and call him to come and get his stuff. If he throws a temper tantrum and starts banging on the door, text him, "You're making me fear for my life. I'm calling the cops if you don't leave." Do not let him and his kids pack. Your husband's things will be missing, and you may be missing some valuables. If you need to, call the cops. Tell them your late husband's brother's trying to get into your house and you're scared. Tell them you let him stay for a week, but that he's been causing major issues, and you told him he couldn't come back, and now he's getting violent. But I have the feeling the guy's not leaving the house much. Can you get a friend or someone to be with you one day while you handle this? I don't think it'll be easy to kick them out. You need help with this. Not the idiot. What your in-laws are doing is attempting to stake a claim in the house. Guaranteed your brother-in-law's been taking inventory of what he feels he and his family are owed. Some people's true nature comes out upon a loved one's death. Of course, your mother-in-law would side with her son. What he and what he's allowing his children to do is completely disrespectful to you and your late husband's memory. Get them out. Stand your ground. Did your husband leave a will? If so, who gets the house and his belongings? Whether he did or not, find a good estate attorney. It sounds as if your in-laws have a sense of entitlement regarding their possessions and will attempt to take control of everything they can manage to get their hands on. I, 33 female, have been with my boyfriend, 35, for over 10 years. We have 2 kids together, twins, pre-tween. I have an older sister, 38, Nina, who's getting married to Dan, 37 male. She has a teen and a young child from her previous relationship. She's known Dan for about 2 years. Her wedding is in 2 weeks. I was meant to be a maid of honor and had my final dress fitting and everything about a week ago. Nina is very particular about how she wants her wedding to go, so the dresses took 2 to 3 months to be made. The maid of honor dress and bridesmaid dresses are slightly different, whereas the maid of honor dress looks more upgraded compared to the bridesmaids and is closer in style to the bride's dress. Because I'm her only sister, Nina said she couldn't imagine anyone else wearing the maid of honor dress. Last week I found out that neither my boyfriend nor my twins are invited to the wedding, as my sister has canceled their invitations. The wedding is not child-free, since her kids and our nephews and nieces are going to be there. When I asked her what was wrong, she said she didn't feel comfortable having my boyfriend at her wedding because we're still not married, and since the twins were born outside of marriage, they can't come in too. I was furious and reminded her that she had 2 kids born outside of marriage. This is her first marriage, and she's currently pregnant with another. Nina said she understood her sins and is working to redeem them, but her word is final. So, alongside with a few others, the bridesmaids pulled out from the wedding and told her we wouldn't be coming since Nina decided to uninvite our boyfriends and kids. I've also said I will not give her my maid of honor dress either, since I've fully paid for it and all the fittings. My sister called me an idiot and is asking our parents to do something since she can't have another maid of honor, and the dress will take too long to make, and everything's already fully paid for. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She messed around and found out. And what the heck? Who does this? Did she have a sudden awakening a couple of weeks ago, before the wedding? I hope her faith is enough to sustain a major loss in her life. Her judgmental nature is going to ruin a lot more than her wedding. She'll no longer have family and friends left either. Oof, so they were invited, and you made plans, then she uninvited them? Does this apply to all the guests? That's cruel of her, especially to uninvite at the last minute. If pressed, you could sell the maid of honor dress back to her for the same cost you paid. What are you going to do with it anyway? But you're certainly under no obligation to give it to her. Good for you for not going, sticking with your partner and kids. Your sister is serving holier-than-thou hypocrite vibes. She needs to take a long look in the mirror. I assume she's some sort of Christian faith? If so, tell her to reread the Bible, because she's got some things twisted and is behaving awfully. Nina said she understood her sins and is working to redeem them. And sorry, working to redeem them? How so? By passing judgment on others and getting married, so she won't have another child out of wedlock? Your sister seems to need clarification on how forgiveness works. She won't be redeemed by pushing others down to elevate herself. What's the likelihood that her fiancé is telling her that this is how it needs to be? Is this guy a religious nut controlling and trying to separate your sister from her friends and family? I wouldn't be maid of honor. I wouldn't be a guest. I wouldn't even be attending any future event she throws. Not inviting your boyfriend after 10 years is bad enough, but not inviting her flesh and blood, your twins, just because their parents aren't married, is so judgmental and hypocritical that I would refuse to have anything more to do with her until and unless she proves she's redeemed herself. My wife, 41, of 4 years, and I, 45 male, have a blended family. She and I both have a daughter from our previous marriage. Her daughter's a pre-tween, and my daughter's 1 year younger. I was raised by a dad who made a good salary, but blew every dollar he earned. As a result, I've always lived frugally and hate conspicuous consumption with a passion. Now, my wife and I are economically stable. She's a travel nurse, and I own a contracting business. We've agreed that we would not raise our kids to be indulgent spenders. However, a caveat is that my wife and stepdaughter are attached at the hip. She calls her the love of her life and her muse, as well as her fashion twin. My wife has currently started her own nursing agency, and between that and her summer contract, she's making more than me for the first time. So despite her often arranging for my stepdaughter to travel with her during the summer or visit her office, she also feels a lot of mom guilt. Therefore, she's very susceptible to the dreaded puppy dog eyes. The puppy dog eyes convinced her to fork out money for membership to a mini golf place my stepdaughter got bored of after 2 visits, and it worked today at the mall. We first went to get the kids new backpacks, and then went across the mall to Bloomingdale's because my wife was getting interviewed by a local paper and needed something to wear. When we were there, we split up because my stepdaughter squealed, "Twins!" and went to help her mom pick out clothes. I found a place to sit down with my daughter because I needed to answer a few emails. I returned to Earth because my wife and stepdaughter had disappeared, and my daughter said she saw them go down the escalator. We go down and find them at a jewelry counter. My daughter makes a noise of dismay as she watches them get handed 2 matching bags. My daughter asks if stepmom bought something for her stepsister, and my wife says, "No, sweetie, it's just for me." However, a look at her stepsister's face tells my daughter that she's lying, and she starts saying, "What did you get? Can I have one, please?" My stepdaughter says, "It's called a tennis bracelet, and I got it because Mom and I are twins." My wife shushed her and said we should go home now, but my daughter kept repeating, "Can I have one? I want one." She then burst into tears, so I tell my daughter to come with us, and when she doesn't, I'm exasperated and say, "Stop, you're acting very spoiled. A lot have less than you." My daughter then stumps after us. When I got home, I found out the cost of the bracelet was over $2,000 together and expressed dismay to my wife, reminding her of our no luxury policy for our kids. She said she knows, but that it was the happiest she'd ever seen her daughter, and she has to go away for business soon and felt guilty. Regardless of my wife's actions, I need to continue teaching my daughter my values. Am I the idiot? So let me get this straight. You, your wife, and your wife's daughter live in luxury. travel, get very expensive jewelry and new clothes, but your daughter's spoiled because she's being lied to her face and excluded. Is it okay with you that your wife lies straight to your daughter's face? Some people have cheaper wedding rings than that bracelet. You are the idiot, an awful father, and your wife is a horrible stepmother. I hope you like your stepdaughter because your daughter will remember this. Not to mention how this particular incident played out. Stepmom and daughter head off together to bond as twins, while you ignore your daughter to answer emails. What values do you think you're instilling? That no one in her family values your daughter? Job done. Basically, you're telling your daughter that she's wrong for feeling excluded when that's precisely what your wife and daughter are doing. Your wife has never accepted your daughter, and she never will. So you will continue living in some fool's paradise, demeaning and devaluing your daughter. So sad that she can't return to her bio mother and is forced to live in an emotionally abusive environment. Disagree. OP's wife lies to OP's daughter because she knows OP is too cheap to buy stuff for his own daughter and doesn't want her to feel hurt or left out when she buys it for her own daughter. It sounds like OP and his wife have separate finances for each of their own daughters. So I won't say she's a horrible stepmother. OP is definitely the idiot for his treatment of his daughter. I'm in a group for disabled parents. The group is not for the parents of disabled children. It's for the parents who have disabilities. While many of our members have a child or children with disabilities, that's not why they're in the group. The group's purpose is to have a support network of other parents with disabilities, free of the stigma and condescension disabled people with children so often face. Last week, a woman messaged our group about joining, and we gave her the information for our next meetup. At the meetup, she arrived with her son, who was in a wheelchair. He was a very sweet boy and played well with the other kids. The mother sat on her phone for most of the meetup and didn't participate much in our discussion topic. During one of our attempts to include her in the conversation, she did mention that she's not disabled in any way. I mentioned that this group is for disabled parents, and she responded that her son is disabled. That's not really relevant. We moved on, but at the end of the meetup, we told her she couldn't be a group member because it's a support group for parents with disabilities, and she isn't disabled. She was very offended and kept talking about her son. One of the other members explained that this group isn't for the kids, it's for the parents. There are play groups for disabled kids, but we're not that. Yes, our meetings are child-friendly, but that's for logistic reasons because childcare is expensive. This group is our safe space, and she's intruding on it. She told us we were hypocritical, called us names for excluding her son, and left very upset. We feel bad, but also this isn't a play group. It's a support group. Were we unfair idiots? Not the idiots. She didn't participate in the meeting, and she called you all names when she was told the group's purpose. Maybe she's stressed and thought she found a group for her kid, but that doesn't exclude her behavior. Y'all shouldn't feel bad about that. There are groups I'm sure that she and her son would actually fit into. She thought she found free childcare. I think this woman underestimates your struggles as disabled parents and is missing the point. The fact that she said she had no disability when you tried to include her in the conversation also is a red flag of ableism. You were 100% right to kick her out. She was invading your safe space. It's called selective listening. Narcissists are fantastic at this. It doesn't matter what words are coming out of your mouth or others. They only hear what they want to hear. Then when confronted, the blame is always put on someone else. Ignore it and move forward.